Hello, I'm Kenzie, and this is my channel. I'm going to be rating my divination decks in this video. Yeah, okay, let me grab them. Okay, so I think the first one I'm going to start with is going to be my Vlad Dracula deck. The box is really nice, it's really soft. It's a rock pool tarot deck. They make really, really soft decks. The tarot guide is also this really, really soft cardstock. It's just really velvety. It's got really good information in it. It's got some different spreads in the front. Let's see if there's another one, or if that's it. Oh, that's it. Okay, it's got a tarot spread in the front. I like using those to like acclimate to different decks. The cards themselves, they're a pretty standard size. I'll show this picture just because it's one of the more PG ones, and I don't think I can show most of the pictures in this deck on YouTube. They're pretty gnarly. It's a very grungy style. I think it's really cool. My only complaint is it's got really sharp edges. Like, they're rounded, but they're really sharp, and when using the deck, it kind of does hurt, and this is an issue with both of the decks I have by Rockwool, is it kind of does hurt my hand to shuffle them, especially when I'm doing a bridge. It's really sore on my fingers. It does not feel very good. But it's a really cool deck. I got this one in New Orleans when I went a couple years ago. It's a very nice deck. I do like it. I probably rate it a 7 out of 10. It's got a really good case. It works really well. It's just kind of sharp on my hands, and I don't like that. But other than that, it's a really solid deck. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite deck ever, but it's really solid. I like the material that they used for the box. In the same vein, I do also have the Occult Tarot deck by Rockpool as well. It looks like they typically go for about $30 in America. Yeah, about $30. Again, very, very soft material. Same issue with the cards being really sharp on the edges and poking my hand a lot. But I'd rate this one worse actually because there's not nearly as much information about the cards. And if you're a beginner or just need to constantly refer to the guidebook, it's not a good guidebook, so I'd probably rate this one a little lower than that one at about 6 out of 10. And it's just for that reason. That's not really on the manufacturer. That's just how Travis McHenry wrote the guidebook for that specific tarot deck. I have 3 more right here, and then I'm going to go grab more tarot decks. Next, the Revelations tarot deck, I think that says. Revelations. Ew. It's kind of messy, the wording on it, but it's a really beautiful deck. Zach Wong created this deck, and a lot of the imagery is very much based off of Chinese folktale, which I think is really cool. Each card does have a different look from the upright and reversed. So, like, here's the death card, and I think it's really cool how he did this. It's a really cool deck. I really like the company that helped produce this deck. Levlin. There it is. These cards I like. They're a little thinner. They're softer on the edges. They're easier to shuffle for me. They are, like I said, on the thinner side, so if you don't like your cards more bendy, then you probably wouldn't like it, but I do really like this deck. I'd probably say an 8 or a 9 out of 10 rating-wise. It's not my favorite deck produced by this company, but it's got such cool imagery. I really do like it. Yes, the casing is fine. It's got a little string to pull up to get the cards out. It's pretty easy to open with the magnet closure. Same with this one, same company, different creator for this deck, Celio Thompson. Line Strider deck. Very nice. That's quite a weighted book. It also has extra information like astrology correlations, number correlations, planets. Some of them also have birthday correlations, so like date in the year. So it's pretty cool. It's got extra information that you don't typically find in guidebooks. Very beautiful imagery. It's a gorgeous art style. Lots of beautiful cards in this one. I'd probably rate it the same as the other one. 8.5, I guess, is where I'm going to settle those two. Not like my favorite one ever from this company, but also definitely still beautiful. I have 3 different decks from this company. All of them have that same kind of thin cardstock. It holds up really well. My favorite deck from this company, I'll show you, that this company has helped produce. I'll show you next. It's the Shadowscapes Tarot. I've had this one for years. It's my second oldest deck out of all of my divination decks. My absolute oldest tarot deck. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous imagery. I absolutely adore it. I've stayed very connected with this one all in all. Again, with that very thin cardstock, I like it. It helps with such thick decks. I've got really small hands, so being able to just take them and bend them like that and not have any issues shuffling them is really nice. But yeah, beautiful cards, beautiful cards. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10. My only complaint is the guidebook isn't completely clear as to what the reverse meanings are versus the upright meanings. It's very unclear. when it comes to that, but overall it's a beautiful deck. It hasn't done me wrong yet. It is pretty worn down. Again, I've had it for years. I think I got it when I was 15. Yeah, 15. That's when I first got my first 3 decks of cards. So it is a pretty worn down box. The cards are very worn down. I've used this deck a lot. It's beautiful. I love it. Feel very happy with this deck. Again, only complaint is not quite the clearest writing of a guidebook, so 9 out of 10. I'll be right back with another group of tarot. Okay, I've got my next 5 decks right next to me. I'm going to start with my Disney Villains Tarot deck. It's a really nice deck. Comes with a very easy to read guidebook. This is probably one of the easiest to read guidebooks probably I've ever had. It is very clear and concise about what's upright, what's inverse. It tells you about why they picked what characters to put on these cards. Cardstock is pretty firm, not like the firmest. You don't want super firm. Beautiful cards. These are, I'd say, very standard sized tarot cards. Again, with that card, oh my goodness. Very standard sized tarot cards. Most of my tarot decks come in this size of card. I have a few over next to me that are not. I think 2 specifically are not this size specifically, like this exact size, but most of them are. The ones that I just showed you are. These are. It's a very nice deck. The box is pretty well made. I really like decks that have these strings that go underneath, the ribbon that goes underneath the deck. The only thing that I'm not like the biggest fan of is these pull-up ones aren't the easiest to get off. They like suction in the air a lot. Same with the supernatural one. Oh, I forgot to rate this one. Probably 7 out of 10. Like I said, really good solid tarot deck, just not my favorite one to go to. I have other ones that I go to more often. I have ones that I'm going to right now because they're newer. Supernatural tarot deck. It's got the same setup as the other one. Very clear, very concise, upright and reversed. The only difference is it mixes in the Winchester storyline stuff, the supernatural storyline stuff, in with the card upright and reversed meanings. I don't really like when decks do that, but the cards are, again, quite nice. They do have a lot of these though, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I like how the other deck did it, where it was mostly characters with images behind them. I don't like it when deck companies take the easy way out and just put cups on the cup cards. I think that's really just a cop out. I think most people who do read tarot think it's a cop out. These cards have very specific meanings, and it's very easy to come up with something for the meanings, to go with the meanings, especially when you already have a pre-established world to put with the cards. So I don't think it's the greatest thing to just have cards that have stock images of cups or things like that on them. I think it is very much a cop-out, but still a solid deck. 6 out of 10. Again, not my favorite. Next deck. This is a Spencer's one. I got it because I'm very much into different mythologies, and this being Egyptian mythology and history-based one, I thought it would be really cool. I don't like how it's built like a tomb. It's hard to get cards in and out. As you can see, I struggled to push them in here last time, so they were off kilter. They're hard to pull up. A lot of the images are just stock images. There are a few that are like this. It's mostly like the aces, the knights, the pages, the kings, the queens, and the major arcana that are that. So I personally don't think this was really worth my money. It's a 3 out of 10 for me. It is hard to use. It's hard to put away. It's not a good design. For the tomb design sucks. It just sucks. I think it's horrible. 3 out of 10 just for how inconvenient it is to use this deck. It's not it. I don't like it. It's bad. It's a bad box design. I think there were other things that they could do to give those vibes. It's way too hard to use. Next deck, Queer Tarot. I actually really like this box. It's really fun. It's so colorful inside. It's got a really nice guidebook. It's easy to read. It's beautiful. It's pretty easy to find what page you're looking for. It's nice. It's a nice guidebook. I like the guidebook. I also really like the fact that they put the cards into an extra box so that it is easier carriage-wise if you don't want to take a whole ass box traveling with you, if you want to take your tarot deck with you. Beautiful cards. My mom said that they have a very psychedelic look to them. Absolutely, like, insane color-wise. I love it. I think it's just such great vibes. I love it when cards give different representation on the cards too. I think it's really fun. My biggest complaint is it is hard to use these cards. They are really long. They're not thick, so it doesn't even itself out. They're pretty thin, so that helps, but they're not wide, so it doesn't even out that much when trying to use the tarot deck. It's hard to shuffle for me, but they're really good cards, very positive. I like the vibes. They're really fun. I enjoy them. Probably say an 8 out of 10. I really like this deck. My only complaint is that I can't grip them very well because I've got tiny hands. I can grip most of my tarot decks pretty easily, but those are a bit bigger than I'm used to, tarot-wise, so it's a bit hard. But I really like the deck. It's really nice. Ashley Molesso and Chess and Newham, great job. They did an amazing job. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for that one. Next tarot deck is the One World Tarot. This one also has a lot of representation in it. I do not like the box design. I don't like how this is all loose. I have another box that does have a pull-out feature like this, but it is not loose like this. It has a proper box, not a piece of cardboard. Like the only proper packaging that this has is this piece, and that kind of drives me nuts because this could fall apart so easily. It's a piece of cardboard. It's a flimsy piece of cardboard. The guidebook is pretty good. I haven't used this one very much, but it's pretty easy to go through and read. Pretty concise. It tells you personal view things, like how it might be for personal views or world views for each card. I don't think it's got a reverse meaning thing in it though, so if you do reverse meanings, it's not going to be easy. But beautiful cards, just absolutely incredible. They did some amazing work on these cards. Lena Rodriguez and Sienna Rose with June Rifkin. Those are the ones that wrote it. Illustrations by Alexandra Philippek. Beautiful cards. They're slightly smaller than your standard tarot deck. They're probably about half an inch shorter, so they're a little easier to grip actually. I'm typically up here more, like here. These are very easy to grip, easy to bend. They are pretty thin, like the other ones that I really like. It's a good deck. I just do not like the packaging, so I'm probably not going to open it very often. The packaging does bring it down to like a 6 for me. If it had different packaging, I'd probably have it at a 7.5, because again, it's still not going to be my favorite tarot. I got it because it looked really interesting and cool. I think it's really interesting and cool. I love the idea of a tarot deck that does represent all the different like ethnicities and world, like people in the world. I think it's a cool tarot deck. It's just not one I'm going to use often. Awesome. Next round. Okay, we're going to visit my oracle decks really fast. Let's start with the one on top, the Realist Oracle by Kendra Austin. Again, one of those very modern, very inclusive decks. I love the back of these cards. They're beautiful. The guidebook is really nice. It's easy. The box is easy to get around. Not my favorite type of box, but this time it's like way looser, so it's easier to get off. Beautiful cards. I like the style of illustration for these decks. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, they're really beautiful. They're way too long. That's my hand on them. They are as long as my hands, and they're really thin. They are less wide than my hands are. That makes them really hard to use. They're beautiful. I love them. They're really easy to read. They are just so hard to use. I can't really shuffle these properly. And I have that issue with a lot of my tarot decks, is they are the wrong size for my hands. It's hard to use these. That's why I don't have more than 5 oracle decks. I find it easier to read tarot anyways. These are beautiful. They're 7 out of 10. It's literally just, I can't use them very easily. It's really hard to use them for me. They're just not the right size for my hands. But they're beautiful cards, and if you're an oracle reader, especially like you prefer oracle cards, I would recommend getting these. They're really, really awesome. They're very encouraging cards. Like very encouraging. They're incredible. I can't use them very easily. The next deck, Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. These are the easiest ones for me to use. These were the first ones I ever bought too. First cards in general that I ever bought divination wise. The guidebook is so easy to read. Again, most of these have different spreads, at least one unique spread to each tarot deck. It's really just incredible. I love this deck. I love the guidebook. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love the illustration style. They're just so beautiful. These cards will always be like my baby. They were what got me to really get into tarot, or yeah, oracle at first and then tarot. It got me into divination though, and they're just incredible. I love them. They're really easy for me to shuffle. They fit in my hands so easily. They're really easy cards to use. I can't complain about the size of them. The only way I can imagine anyone complaining about the size of them is if they're used to only shuffling playing cards, which there is a deck I have that is the size of playing cards. But as far as this one goes, this is a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Easy to use, very beautiful energy, just very nice cards. Oracle decks kind of are all really large, so that one's nice. My next deck is the Gaia Oracle. Blue Angel is the production company for these, and the next deck that I'll show you. Really nice guidebook. It's got information, it's got spreads, rainbow chakra spread. Oh, I should try that. But different spreads, very nice guidebook, kind of flimsy, but very nice. You don't need anything fancy. It just has to stick together, right? Very beautiful cards. A lot of them do have feminine pictures on them because we view Gaia as a very feminine spirit or creature. Because Gaia is the earth, it's very much considered a maternal energy. These are beautiful cards. There's the back. They're very nice cards. I don't use them very often though because they're hard for me to shuffle. That is my big issue with a lot of oracle cards. They're just really hard for me to shuffle. I think I'd probably use these more if they were a smaller size. Something funny about the Blue Angel containers. they shake. There's nothing keeping the cards from shaking. So that's not great. I feel like that's kind of not good for the cards. That's a huge complaint, casing-wise for me, is that, ew, that's not good. I think that's not good. Yeah, probably 6 out of 10. Next, Black Moon astrology cards. Again, Blue Angel. Same issue of loose cards. It's a nice guidebook. It's a nice guidebook. It's got the information that you need. I think it also has quotes from, yeah, it's got quotes from different people in history. So those are also really fun to read through. I think there's a really funny one in here from Abraham Lincoln, but I could be wrong. But there's some funny quotes in there. The cards are really cool. I do feel like they've got this like a Photoshop vibe to them. Which I'm not complaining. Not everyone has to be like an incredible illustrator. It needs to get the vibes that they want to give across. But they're also not my favorite cards to look at. They're really not. Yeah, probably also a 6 out of 10. They're also really hard for me to use. It's hard to shuffle them. It's hard to grab them. They're the size of my hand. That is hard to use. They're hard to use. I don't love that. But other than that, they're not bad cards. They're good cards. They're just not cards that I'm going to go to use very often. The final Oracle deck that I have to show is the Fairy Wisdom Oracle deck with a book, with a guidebook, written and illustrated by Nancy Brown. This is actually a hardcover. Like, it's got actual hardcover material. It's a hardcover. Oh, Amy Brown is the illustrator, not Nancy. Nancy wrote the book. These have chants with them. It's a very fairy forward deck, and it very much is invested in that, obviously. It's a Fairy Wisdom Oracle. They're beautiful cards. I love this art style. But again, very hard for me to use. They are massive cards. I have very small hands. These are a little smaller than the Blue Angel. Yeah, Blue Angel cards. These were produced by, who the fuck produced you? US Game Systems Inc. Oh, holy crap, I actually have some tarot cards that are also by this company. I did not realize that they made these as well, but they're beautiful cards. They're just really hard for me to use. Again, probably a 6 out of 10 for me. They're gorgeous, they're just not practical for me. I have used them on more than a few occasions. I just don't use them nearly as often as I use my tarot decks. Yeah, 6 out of 10, I think. Again, really love that string mechanism. It's easy to pull things out of the box when there is a string attached to the box. On to next round. Okay, these next ones I'm going to consider as the same tarot deck. One's just a deluxe edition. One is just a deluxe edition. There is no guidebook with these. These are from Spirit Halloween. There's no guidebook with them. The only differences are the backs and the material. These are the regular cards. They're very, you can feel that they were cut out or like cut from each other. They have that feel of like when you pull cardboard pieces out of a game set, like they were in that big piece of cardstock and you're like pulling them out. You know, they've got that feel on the top especially. They're relatively thin and wavy. They're not super comfortable. They've got like they don't have a great feeling. They're cool cards. There's the art style. I don't know that I really would use these anytime but around Halloween for like silly fun Halloween readings because they're very much costumey, you know? They feel like they're being sold as part of a costume. So those are like the regular tarot cards from Spirit Halloween. The deluxe ones have a palm on the back and have this shiny material. Just very rainbowy, you know? They feel way better quality. I got these a year apart, and the quality difference is incredible. I paid like $15 for each of these decks. You're paying for what you get. So like definitely better quality than you'd expect. Actually, I think they were more like 10. But anyways, not horrible decks. Probably 5 out of 10, pretty average, middle of the road, not horrible quality, not the greatest quality. Wish they had guidebooks, because if you're buying a tarot deck from a Halloween store, you might want to know how to read it. But they're fun to look at. Ooh, we're on to our first independent deck. By independent, I mean independently made. Like someone actively went out of their way to make this deck and had to fund it on their own. This is the Crystal Struck Tarot deck. This is the silver limited edition one. I think it's really pretty. I have a friend who has the same deck. They said they wish they had gotten the gold version. I think it's a beautiful deck. These are not a standard size tarot deck. It has a fairly simple little mini guide pamphlet. It says it's a guidebook. I'd say this is more of a pamphlet. It's got keywords. It's got very short sentences as to what the cards could be indicating for you. It's not an in-depth guidebook. So this is one where I'd say know how to read tarot before you get it. But they are absolutely gorgeous. Each one has a different crystal on it. The world has moss agate. They're absolutely gorgeous. They have such a beautiful energy. they're very gentle cards, energy-wise, very beautiful. I really love them. The packaging is really nice. Moonstruck Tarot is one that I'd seriously suggest getting if you're an experienced tarot reader, or if you know enough about tarot to be able to read it properly without really needing to refer or have an in-depth knowledge about the cards. There is their website if you are interested in getting one. They're beautiful cards. Absolutely gorgeous. I love these already. I just got them like a week or two ago. They're really beautiful. I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 for me. Absolutely incredible cards. It's really good material. I'll show you how bendy they are. They are a bit awkward in the hand. That's my only complaint. There's the bend. They're easy to bend though, so that does help. They're easier to bend than most tarot decks, but they are not thin. They are a really good material. I love them. They're really nice. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I love them. They're beautiful. She did an amazing job at making them. Yeah. My tea's turning cold. Okay, Spirit Song Tarot. This is the same US game company that made the Fairy Oracle. Fairy was an Oracle. This is a really nice guidebook. Really easy to read. This is one of those decks where it has different names for the suits than a classical tarot deck. Some of them that I did show earlier also have that going on, like they'll replace pentacle with coins, but it's still easier to associate. This one has shells instead of cups, acorns instead of wands, crystals instead of pentacles, and feathers instead of swords. They're really beautiful cards. If you know what you're doing, they're going to be relatively easy to read. They do have some other names that are different too, like the Traveler is actually the Fool in classical tarot. These are really nice. They're pretty easy to bend. They do have a good firmness to them. They are that classic tarot size, average tarot card size. Very nice. Easy to use, easy to shuffle. Yeah, they're really nice. Kind of weird that the Traveler is on top. I've been shuffling these today, actually. Yeah, they're nice cards. It's got a nice guidebook. I would recommend getting this one. It's beautiful. It's just a really nice tarot deck. The next one is also from the same company. Oh, wrong side. Same company. Tarot Crow. Crow Tarot. Again, relatively easy to read. Actually, I take that back. It's got keywords and it's got descriptions, but I don't think it has proper reversed. No, I'm not saying the reverse meanings in here. Yeah, easy to read, just no reverse meanings. It's kind of a strange art style. Like if you look at that, they are really cool. I love seeing different art styles. Grungy or ugly art styles I absolutely love. I'd say these are pretty grungy. Not like the grungiest. I'd say my Dracula ones are the grungiest ones I've got. And those go hard. These are pretty nice. Oh, this deck I'd probably say is a 7 out of 10. This one I'd say is more like a 6 or 5.5. They're good cards. The reason why I rate them kind of lower is because I got them at a time in my life where things weren't great for me. So they kind of have that association with them now. Yeah, they've got that association with them now. It's not great, but it's also like, what am I going to do about it? It's a nice tarot deck. It's a really cool tarot deck. Also, last time I traveled, I brought these with me, and that was during my Nana's memorial, when I went down to California for my Nana's memorial. So, yeah, not a lot of good memories associated with this deck for me. Okay, looks like I've got 5 left on the shelf. Oh, 6 left on the shelf. I have 1 upstairs. I'm not going to grab it right now, but I will talk about it. The one that's upstairs right now is the Territorial deck, which has been going viral on Witch Talk right now. It's a really good deck. It's made for beginners or people who have ADHD to help learn tarot. I got it because I thought I might be able to like cement those reverse meanings in my head a little easier. It hasn't been working out for me very well, so I've been letting my mom use it to learn tarot for herself, because she does struggle a lot with just learning tarot. So she's got it and she's using it, and she is having a good time using it, and it's been helping her out a lot. It's a really good deck. It's that same standardized size for tarot decks. It's a really nice deck. It's really good quality. It's got extra information on it. My mom pointed out to me that some of the cards actually also have Jewish symbols on them, like symbols and words for association. It has numbers, astrology, things like that. Like, all of the associations are on the cards. I got the extended edition, by the way, so everything's on the cards. It's got the description in upright and reverse. The imagery on the cards is also really beautiful. Just an incredible deck. That one is probably a solid 8 out of 10, just not helpful for me personally. But if you want to get that one, I highly would recommend it. It's a really good deck. So let's just now go to my last 6 decks that I got on my shelf over there, and yeah, let's finish this off. Okay, starting off with Tiny Tarot. This one I'd say is great for having as a keychain. However, I've had this thing pop open on me so many times. There are actually 72 cards in here. It is that classic tarot imagery that it's got. They are absolutely so tiny. They come with this tiny little pamphlet that has one tarot spread on it and keywords for all of the cards. The tarot spread that it comes with is, it calls it the 10 card tarot spread. One of my other decks calls it the Celtic Cross spread. It's got 10 cards, as you can see. But yeah, no, these I have actually shuffled before. Might sound crazy, but if you look at that, tiniest deck ever. Cutability scale, 10 tenths. Practicality scale, 3 out of 10. It is so impractical how small this is. Like, that is a tiny deck. I think it's great. I got this so that I wouldn't have to lug around one of my, like, actually practically sized tarot decks to school and could, like, do readings for my friends without having this giant ass tarot deck, or tarot box with me, because at the time, most of my tarot was in those bigger boxes, like the Shadowscapes one. So it was just more practical school-wise to have this tiny tarot deck, but I had to keep it in a pocket because this thing would actually pop open on me. Now it sits on my shelf and is hardly ever used because it's so impractical, but I love it so much, and I think most people who have this got it because it's just small, and that's adorable. Yeah, so there's that one. Here is the Everyday Tarot. The box sucks ass. I've had this, like, section for the book to go in break so many times. The book is really simple to read. It literally just has upright and reverse meanings. It does not tell you anything else about the card or the imagery. Real easy. This is something that you could keep in your purse or on you at really any time and have a practical, you can have a practical sized deck to keep with you. These, I'd say, are about the size of a playing card, and I actually have a deck right next to me that I could, like, compare the sizes for. Yeah, that is the size of a playing card. So if you have a hard time with tarot because the cards are not a size you are used to shuffling, this one might be easier for you because it is the size of a playing card. They're the size of playing cards. They are a lot thicker though, like you have a lot more cards because it's 78 cards for a deck. Mine have kind of gone through some abuse, and yeah, well, if this deck could throw me off a bridge, it probably would. I did some fucked up things to this deck in high school because it was the deck I cared the least about because it was $12, $12.95, $13. Really nice tarot deck, very easy, simple imagery. It is like a very simplistic version of the original tarot imagery. It's a nice deck, it's easy to use, it's good for beginners. The reason why I got it is because I saw it at a craft store, and I thought to myself, I never see tarot decks at craft stores, I have to get this. So that's why I got this. And I think it's hilarious that I got this just because it was at a craft store. It's a good 7 out of 10 deck. Again, not like one that I'm going to use super often, but not like my least favorite deck. Next, we have Fuego, Tarot del Fuego, which I got at a Fred Meyer's. If you thought that the Clear Tarot had psychedelic imagery on it, I don't think I'm even allowed to show these on YouTube. Maybe this one? I might be able to show this one. I'll show this one. I'm not flipping through this deck. There's a lot of, like, nudity imagery. Oh, I could probably show this one. They're all really weird looking. Most of them have, like, big old honkers on them. Real big nudity imagery. These are really thin. They're not actually the thinnest cards I have. I have a deck over here that's super, like, thin card-wise. These are pretty thin. I think they're really cool looking cards. And the guidebook actually has, like, 5 different languages in it. Spanish, English, French, I think Dutch is what that is. It's written in its original, in the language that people who would speak it would read it, and Portuguese. Yeah, it has a lot of languages. I think it's mostly keywords or, like, very brief sentences. Yeah, it's, like, keywords. You get keywords for normal position and reverse position is what it calls them. So upright and reversed. It's a solid little guidebook. For being $20 at a grocery store, it's honestly not a bad deck. They're relatively easy to shuffle. I'd say they're actually quite easy to shuffle. Yeah, they fit in my hands easy. They shuffle real easy. The reason why I, like, do that is to show that they are easy to shuffle, because if I can't do that, then that's like half of my shuffle routine that I can't do. The box hasn't broken down on me yet, but that doesn't mean that it won't, because it is a thin little cardboard box, and it's one of those shitty ones where it's got, like, oh, holy shit, that's stuck in there. Anyways, it's one of those ones where if you put the cards in slightly wrong, they're gonna shoot that bottom piece right out. Next, oh, I should probably give this a rating. I give a lot of things 7 out of 10. Yeah, but that's, like, kind of accurate, though. 7 out of 10. I think it's a good deck. I can't really complain about it too much. I found it at a Fred Meyer's. That is a pretty good steal for a Fred Meyer's $20 tarot deck. Next is the Alienation Chaos cards. Tarot-inspired Major Arcana pack. I honestly hope she makes a full deck with, like, Minor Arcana as well, because while these would be, like, the perfect consistency of card for shuffling them if it were a full deck, this makes it really hard to shuffle them as just the Major Arcana. They're really fun cards. They're really cute. I think she did an amazing job designing these. In the corners, they do have QR codes. They're really fun. You can also use the QR codes in the guidebook. It's a cute deck. I think it would work really well, like consistency wise, if these were in a full-sized deck and not just the minor arcana. As the minor arcana, I find these, I keep saying minor, it's the major arcana. As just the major arcana, I find these really hard to shuffle because they're just so thin. And again, still not the thinnest cards I have. The next deck is the thinnest cards I have. But these are really nice, like, thickness and width, if it were a full-size deck. I really wish this was a full-size deck. I love the cards, they're really fun, I do use them every so often, but they're just so thin that it makes it kind of hard to shuffle them properly. But she did a really good job making the 22 major arcana, and giving them all like names that correlate with videos that she's made is also really cool. It did also come with an extra card, and this does not leave its little case that it came in. It's Luigi. Luigi stays in his case. Yeah, she did a great job. It's a really good deck. This is a fun card. Again, there's a little QR code in the corner, but I don't think it works on this card because it's so iridescent and shimmery. Like, look at that. You're being blinded. It's a fun thing that she did, and I love the fact that she included an extra card. I got the cards when they were on pre-sale. I think they're no longer on pre-sale, but she's got them on her website still. But yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10. I just wish it was a full pack. Next are my mood cards. This is a relatable tarot deck. And this is basically just the vibes of the whole deck. The devil is called like weed and chocolate, I think. But yeah, no, the whole thing is just, they're silly tarot cards. The freaking 8 of Wands says eat on it. They're funny. They're supposed to be funny. And these are the thinnest cards I have. These are not used very often because I got them because I was curious based off of a disgustingly relatable tarot deck was what they were called. The only thing that is on them is, like, the only information that's on them for who made them is a website on the back. So I guess at one point I'll need to go and check that website to see if they've got any more information. These are really funny. These are like, you've been doing tarot for years and you just want a joke deck. Again, really flimsy. Like, if you've noticed, none of the other cards have been this much. It's thin. It's nearly paper thin. It's just, they're not the greatest material. They're really thin and flimsy. I honestly can't complain though because I didn't get these because I thought they were a serious tarot deck. I got them because I was curious. So probably like 8 out of 10 just because of that. Yeah, it's just a funny deck. If you want to get that one, the Mood Tarot deck, hilarious. Not a serious tarot deck. I need to grab the, hold on. The last deck I'm going to show is another independent deck, and it is probably my favorite one that I've ever gotten. They were at a Ren Fair last year, and I got it. It is the Loaf Tarot. You may have seen it online when they were doing their Kickstarter. This and this, they said costed $65. It was only $60 for me. I think it's really cool. The concept is they got one person to draw each card, like different people drew each card. I think there were only a few cards where one person drew like 2 cards or things like that, but for the most part it was like a completely different person for each card. I love the material of this book. I love how they made it match with the shininess. It's really cute. I love these hinge boxes. This little pamphlet has all the different artists on it, so it's a great thing to get. They're just so cute. Here's one, and every person has like a different art style, so it's just like so cool to just see how different people came together to make one tarot deck, and every card is just so unique and different, and it's just an incredible way for them to have like collaborated with these different artists and did this really incredible thing. 10/10s, just absolutely gorgeous. I do have a favorite card, and it's just because I love how simple the art style is. Hold on, let me see if I can't find it. It's just so cute. Yeah, favorite deck by far, Loaf Tarot. I think I like independently made tarot decks a lot more than like the ones that you tend to find in stores, because they're just so unique and you can feel the passion in what they did. There is one that I want to get, but I don't have the money right now, called Prism Tarot, and the guy that made it to where like you'd have 4 long pictures that were made by aligning a bunch of the cards together, and I really want to get it because I think that would be really cool to have. I just don't have it yet. But out of the ones that I do have right now, this is by far my favorite one. Second favorite is probably Shadowscapes. Yeah, least favorite is my Osiris deck. That one just pisses me off. And it's all because of that packaging. I swear, if that packaging wasn't the way it was, I would probably love that deck. And then my least favorite would probably be like the Crow deck or one of my Oracle decks. Probably the Fairy Oracle. It's just not what I'm drawn to all that much. But yeah, those are my tarot decks. This is my channel. I'm Kenzie. Yeah, this was fun. If I remember to, I'll post again at some point. Okay, bye!